You're currently carrying guilt for something you never actually did, and the person who put it there is sleeping just fine tonight. That's not a theory. That's the mechanism. And once you see it clearly, you cannot unsee it. Most people spend months, sometimes years, trying to understand why someone who claimed to love them made them feel so small. They read articles, they replay conversations, they ask themselves what they did wrong. But here's the thing nobody tells you. The confusion itself was the strategy. The moment you started doubting yourself was the moment they won. So today, we're not talking about how to argue better or what to say next time. We're talking about the 7 things that genuinely, viscerally rattle a narcissist. Not provocations, not dramatic confrontations, but quiet, personal shifts that hit them somewhere they cannot defend. And if you find yourself nodding along, good. That means it's working. If this channel has ever handed you something useful, subscribe and hit the bell. More of this is coming and you'll want to be here for it. Number 1, emotional detachment. The first thing that shocks a narcissist isn't your anger, it's not your tears, and it's absolutely not your threats to leave. Those things, they've cataloged all of them. They know exactly which reaction comes next and how to use it. What stops them cold is the day your eyes go flat, when your voice loses its desperation, when you stop reaching for them to understand. That stillness is not what they prepared for, because here's what most people don't grasp. Your emotional reactions were never a problem for them. They were fuel. Every tear, every raised voice, every "why would you do this to me?" was proof that they still had access to the inside of you, that they still mattered enough to move you. The second that access disappears, something in them starts to unravel, quietly, privately, in ways they'll never admit to out loud. They'll test you, they'll poke, they'll say the specific thing that used to pull you right back under, and when nothing comes back, when you just look at them with the calm of someone who finally understands the trick, they experience a kind of psychological vertigo that most people around them never get to witness. Number 2, your silence. The second thing is your silence. Not a cold, punishing silence, the deeper kind, the silence of someone who has simply run out of things worth explaining. A narcissist can navigate almost any conversation. Every discussion is an opportunity, a phrase to twist, a vulnerability to file away for later. But silence gives them absolutely nothing to grip. No opening, no material, no mirror. And that's the key word, mirror. A narcissist without a reflection isn't just uncomfortable, they're structurally lost. So they'll fill your silence with guilt trips, sudden warmth, recycled grievances, a version of rage dressed up as concern. They'll reach back into the past to find the wound that still bleeds. And when you just say nothing, when you refuse to perform the role of the person who owes them a response, they come face to face with their own emptiness, the very emptiness they built the entire relationship to avoid. Number 3, a boundary that doesn't move. Third is the boundary, not an ultimatum, not a threat wrapped in frustration, a quiet, grounded, non-negotiable line, and the decision not to justify it. Here's what people miss. A healthy person experiences a boundary as information. A narcissist experiences it as an insult. To them, your self-protection isn't communication, it's a personal attack. Your limit is a declaration of war. So they push. They try charm, then cruelty, then that specific sweetness that always arrived right before things got bad. But when the boundary holds, when you don't explain it a 10th time, when you don't soften it to protect their ego, something inside them collapses. Because an unmoved boundary means one devastating thing. You've become a separate person again. And to a narcissist, your separateness doesn't just feel like distance, it feels like erasure. Number 4, your self-respect coming back. The fourth thing shakes them on a cellular level because they saw you before you saw yourself. They studied the parts of you that apologized too fast, the parts that confused anxiety with love, the parts that shrank. They built the entire dynamic around those parts. So when you start standing differently, when you stop explaining your choices, when you speak about yourself with a certainty that simply wasn't there before, they feel the ground move under them. They'll try to co-opt it at first, complement the change, try to attach themselves to your growth as though they were somehow responsible. When that doesn't work, they'll mock it, try to shame you back into smallness, or suddenly become everything you ever asked them to be, hoping the memory of who they used to pretend to be is enough to pull you back. But genuine self-respect isn't a phase, it's a return, and they were never invited into that home. Number 5, your healing. Fifth, and this one is important, is your healing. Not your grief, your actual healing. A narcissist counted on your wounds the way a system counts on a vulnerability. They needed you slightly uncertain, slightly convinced that the version of you they'd described, the difficult one, the too sensitive one, the one nobody else could handle, was the real you. Your healing dismantles that entire structure. When you sleep through the night again, when you laugh without checking if it's allowed, when your body slowly unknots itself from years of survival mode and your mind starts trusting its own instincts again, you are doing something they cannot replicate and cannot tolerate. Because your healing is the loudest possible proof that what broke you wasn't you, it was them. There is no verdict a narcissist finds harder to survive than watching someone they damaged become genuinely okay without them. Number 6, your indifference. The sixth thing is indifference, not detachment, which is the act of releasing. Indifference is what quietly grows in its place. Indifference is when their name appears on your phone and nothing in your chest moves. When you hear about them through someone else and feel about as much as you would about a stranger whose umbrella you noticed from across the street. A narcissist can survive your hatred. Hatred is still attention. They can survive your sadness because sadness still means they occupy space in your inner world. And the moment you take it off and step into your own life, unhurried, unguarded, and genuinely whole, you become the one thing they could never control. Their narrative falls apart. So here's what I want to leave you with. The reason these 7 things shake a narcissist isn't because you finally found power over them. It's because they were never as solid as they appeared. Everything they built was built on your willingness to absorb, explain, stay, and shrink. When you stop doing those things, not for revenge, but simply because you finally remembered who you are, the whole structure has nothing left to stand on. That's not a battle. That's just clarity. If any of this landed somewhere real for you, drop a comment, even a single word. Tell me where you are right now. Still in it, just out, 2 years free, whatever it is. I read them. This space is for you, and I want to know how you're doing.